Hey, beautiful beings, and welcome in this energy update for the collective. If you have never landed on my page, my name is Fina, and I'm a channeler, or rather intermediary, between the non-physical and the physical. So, for starters, how are you doing? And I'm asking with a reason, because I've noticed that for a lot of us, the energies of now, they are really, really challenging. There's a lot of anger and sadness moving in the quantum field, and this quantum field is the shared energy field that we hold combined. So each and every one of us is influenced by it, but some of us notice it more than other. And as I said, anger and sadness is rising to the surface. Now we see this on world stage, and we also see this within our personal lives. Now, this also has to do, my guides told me, and when I say guides, they are angels and masters, non-physical, high conscious beings that are here to assist us on our path of awakening. So it's beautiful that they search out channelers like me and many others to convey these messages to us, because it helps us to keep hope at dire times. On world stage, we are seeing a lot of demonstrations. People are very angry for very different reasons. And what they have told me is that it needs to come up to the surface. Right now, we are looking at how our governments are leading us, and do we want this leadership still? And how can we show them that we want things to change? So we have loads of topics coming up, but the main message that I'm here for today is a very big influx of light coming our way. Maybe you have heard about it already, called the big surge. Now, what is very peculiar in what they've shown me is that they emphasized that our light body holds crystals, crystal-shaped energy receivers within our chakras. Now, this is very beautiful, because I don't know if you know this, but the Earth's energetic grid also holds crystals, and she uses them to communicate energy and also to communicate with the sun. Now, if you were to look at a ray of sunlight through a prism, then you would see all the colors of the chakras being reflected. Now, each and every one of these rays, they have a color, and every ray has its own master. And when I say master, I don't mean it as in someone who is in charge, but the guides that have mastered the human experience. Now, these guides are here to help us, and they are saying this beautiful, beautiful big surge of light that is coming our way is going to influence each and every chakra. Now, these rays combined in esoteric text and Gnostic text is called the Christos energy. Now, maybe you have been raised with the term Christ and it tells you about Joshua, but Joshua was one of the holders of this Christos energy. So it is about the full combined energy of actually your higher self. Now, what will this do for you? Actually, we are not going to know until we are in it. For sure, there are speculations, and also sometimes they lift the veil a tad bit. It is going to raise our awareness and our consciousness, and also our intuitive capacities. I've talked about this before. Also in my last reading, I talked about the violet ray, and that is the ray of intuition. So, the moment we look at channelers, it is very good to know that you are able to receive messages from your higher self. Now, this is also the way that I founded Zana Healing, with the intention to hopefully inspire you to know that you have these capacities yourself. You have the capacity to receive intuitive information as well as healing yourself. And they say there's so much more to be uncovered. What you will be able to do will be so profound that it will amaze most people. So there is speculation about when this big surge is coming in. And what they've shown me is that there are two very important alignments. That is the Moon, Sun, Earth alignment, and an alignment that is 3i Atlas, Sun and Earth. Now, 3i Atlas is coming into our orbit and it's aligning with the Sun and the Earth. So when it does that, it brings capacity to shoot out a new wave, new rays of plasma. And plasma is actually energy. And we have been raised that we are this physical body and that we do everything with our mind. And now we are moving into times where we are really opening up to the fact that we are more than just a physical body. Now, this also goes for the world around us. Gaia is also changing, and also she is receiving this energy. So, what this is going to do for our external reality is going to be very interesting. And they said it will be so that there's a purging, and when there are really high frequencies, then there's always a purge coming up from the inside. Now, with the earth, it is a rising of energy, and we talked about this before: volcanic activity, tectonic plate shifts, but also within us. So everything that we try to push down in emotions is also coming to the surface. So in that, it will be very important for us to remind each other that we are all moving through this. Today I felt inspired by two beautiful women who really opened up about how they were feeling. And one was on the phone, the other one, I read about her on Facebook, where she was sharing her vulnerability. And I thought, this is really beautiful, because to be honest, I'm not feeling so good myself this week. No worries. It's on and off. But I am also feeling this rise of old energy coming to the surface and working through this. So it's good to know that we are moving through this and that we can support each other in this wave that we are in. It's very important. A more connected society, to build that with love and understanding and with compassion. And we are also in the aftermath of the eclipse. So the latest eclipse was on the 21st of September, and it still brings this aftermath. And what an eclipse does is also to put the focus on what is unresolved. So unresolved issues that can come up within you, and also connections that can put themselves forward, where there's still a little something or a big something to work out. It is time for us to really evaluate from intuition what we want with these connections, and also to connect it to another topic, and that is boundaries. What are our personal boundaries? Where do we feel them? And how do we state them? Now, this is a practice for sure, you know. Either you have been through a phase where you really had to practice, or you are moving through a phase where you really have to practice. So we are being challenged, people. And also challenged to do this from love. So, in case those expressions with connections have been fiery, to turn towards love and to see if we can handle things in a very compassionate manner without putting anything to the side. So, that came up. Let's see. Then we have very serious topics to look at. I would say it is the present and the near future, but also further ahead. It is the topic of looking at our governments and also at the topic of religions. Now, what they've shown me is that each and every religion holds a puzzle piece of the truth, but never tells the whole story. Most of the stories are mythical, and there are correlations between the different types of cultures and religions. And it's very interesting to look at those connections instead of saying, hey, I am coming from this perspective, this is what I've learned, this is what I believe, and so this is the truth. They are asking us to shape a connection to our higher self and then to receive knowledge and to receive information. Because in opening up to our awareness, we can also connect to the Akashic. Now, the Akashic is the library of everything that has ever happened, and especially things that have a really big energetical and emotional imprint. They are ever so present in the Akashic record. So that is where the true story lies. And people like to debate about truth. So I asked them, how do you feel that we can in what way can we approach this the best? And they told me that if you would have two people and they move through a situation together, that each of them would have their own truth, their own recording of memory. Now, this recording of memory is always colored by distortions, by imprints, by cognitive capacity, by emotions. And they said if you would have a recorder present, then it would show you the neutral reality as it really happened. So if we would have that in our daily life, then it would be very easy to rewind, take a step back, to sit together and go like, hey, this was the actual happening. So they also want us to be able to connect to recordings that are available to us about our history. And there is a lot of history that is different from what we learned from our history books, by our school, by our programming, and also by religion. And this is a very sensitive topic because often what people believe is what they defend with their life. And in the end, they said, what is the most important is love. Love, connection, and seeing where we can find common ground instead of our differences. And that is the direction that we are moving in. It is going to be quite the task for us, especially with new knowledge coming in, also about Earth having other evolutions and other species. That is something that they've only opened me up for about 2 years ago, when I for the first time heard Arcturian language. And also when they communicate, they can often do that with puzzle pieces. Do you recognize this? That sometimes a word drops in and it's not a thought word, but for me, they are often words that I don't know. And this time it was also Muur, the continent, or actually they said Muur, the continent of the Lemurians. Now, years ago, my mind would it have been closed off? Not so much, but I wasn't really open to even thinking about other races that have been on our planet, or that they are making connection um, with us. So right now, this is a big topic, and um, these beings are very often very high conscious beings, and also the consciousness that is connected to 3i Atlas. So there's a lot of love coming in for us in outer orbit. No, like I said years ago, I would have thought, woman, you, what are you talking about? Come on. But in the meantime, I've really seen and heard things that are that I have to say, yeah, for me that is proof. But I don't want you to believe me on anything. If I wish something for each and every one of us, is that we become as sovereign as possible. And this also entails that we have our own knowledge and our own connection to our higher self. Now, that is going to increase very much so in the upcoming months. They are saying, however, don't be, or try not to be, fully attached to this happening. Know it that we are there to guide your process, and that you are indeed moving forward, and that there's beautiful hope. And this message is really very important, because on the outside we are seeing so much havoc, and to know that that is part of a process is very, very helpful for us to know. So it is like going through a detox, and first your body starts to come up with all these maybe pimples or feelings of anger, of hunger and fatigue. And then after a while you feel good again, you feel energized, and you feel supported and motivated to keep going. So that is also what is happening right now. So they have brought you this message with loads of love. I'm going to keep it at this. I think love is a really beautiful, beautiful word to end with. And I wish you very good 2 weeks. I will be back again within 2 weeks, and then we will see each other again and see what is present in the energies then and how we can benefit. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and see you the next time. Ciao, ciao.